Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something new. Today we are reacting to one of my subscribers' first ever FPV flights. Cool, so as the title says, today we're going to react to one of my subscribers' first ever flights. Now this is something that I think I would like to do regularly. I'm not an expert in FPV, but I'm also learning, and I thought it would be a cool thing for me to do. One of my subscribers, his name is Todd, has sent me some of his first ever flight clips, and these are recordings from the DJI Air unit and or the goggles. I'm not actually sure just yet. I haven't even seen any of these, and I guess the idea of this is just to watch them react, see if there's anything that I think that I can maybe learn from Todd, or maybe Todd can learn from me. After all, this is a community and a place where I want all of us to learn and kind of grow together. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Before we start, Todd lives in America, and I believe these flights are either going to be with an HD1 from Rotor Riot or a Transtech Beetle, which is actually the same drone that I have. Cool, so the first clip, I'm pretty sure this is, yeah, these are the goggles, and how you can tell is on the left and the right here it's kind of banding in, and that's just the focus mode. So I think this is one of his first ever flights, and there he is sitting on a chair. Pretty smooth. This is a lot smoother than my first flight was. Nice. Oh, a bit of disorientation there. Pretty smooth. So when I did my first flight, I had trees and shit everywhere. This is a hell of a lot more open. Obviously a great place to do it. Cool. So one thing I'm already noticing is when Todd turns, he's kind of coming out of the turn at a, you know, going sideways. And I think that's obviously just getting used to the fact that you've got goggles on, and you're trying to understand how the different movements work. But maybe that's something, Todd, that, you know, when you're kind of getting into the flow of everything, that you kind of want to pick where you want to face when you finish the turn, so that it all looks real smooth and in one flowing movement, if you know what I mean. So ideally, like for example, you're going around a tree. As you come around the tree, you want to pick the exit point so that it's a smooth turn and you don't have to do a second adjustment after the turn. Obviously this is your first flight, so that's doesn't matter, but you know, going forward, I guess that's the things we're trying to do when we're trying to make smooth a smooth flight. The turns are smooth, like for example there, can you see now the horizon is tilted, like my head is tilted. The horizon's tilted when we come out of the corner, and that's fine if you're going to be doing a trick or whatever, but for like real slow cinematic footage or even fast cinematic footage, we want to try and keep the horizon level all the time. So again, I'm not an expert, but these are the things that I'm trying to think of when I'm flying, and maybe these are the things that we can, like, you know, we can work on together, you know, through the next kind of few months of flying. Really cool place. America's got these great places, like these big open fields where you can fly. Like in the UK, this would be have shitty townhouses on or something like that. This is awesome. Another thing I'm noticing is you've obviously picked your aspect ratio to be 4:3, personal preference. Obviously for you, I fly 16:9. That's just my personal preference. I don't think there's any right way. I think people like Joshua Bardwell, etc., they all fly 4:3 because it's a bigger picture. I just want it to look nice, I suppose. So for my eye, I like the 16:9 aspect ratio. Great. So I've been watching for a while now, and you can kind of, Todd's getting a hell of a lot more. Oh, yes, yes, let's go. The first flip, bit sketchy, almost hit the ground on the way down, and I can remember when let's see if he does it again. Yes, front flip, nice, sick. Bro, that's so much more than I did on my first flight. Oh, and a roll, love it. Oh, a little split S. Hey, another front flip, wow, damn, another one, and crown, nice, so good. So damn good. Todd, Amazing, bro. First flight ever FPV with the goggles on. The first flip that you did, I'm guessing you got super disorientated and didn't quite know when to throttle up, obviously, as you have come out of the flip, and that's why you'd almost hit the ground on the way down. And then the same thing kind of coming up. So one of the things I think, which I'm assuming when you get into the rolls, and this is something that I learned from Mr. Steele in one of his tutorials, is they call it blipping, I guess. And when you're coming into the roll or a front flip, you basically blip the throttle and then do the roll. So the drone or the quad jumps a little bit up and you can roll and then land back on the same level that you started at. So you want to kind of move forward, blip, flip, and then land back down, so you're on the same level the entire way around. But listen, for a first ever flight of FPV, that's dope as hell, bro. You got a split S, you got rolls in. I'm super stoked for you. That's awesome. And for almost 4.5 minutes of flight time, which is pretty damn good on a 5-inch, if you ask me. I know you're just cruising around, but that's dope. That's super dope. Ooh, we're flying a bit more aggressively today. I think you're flying fast enough, Todd, that you can probably tilt your camera angle a bit higher. The soccer pitch. Oh, a little punch out. I wish I could hear the sound. So Todd, in the air unit, you can record sound. It records sound as well, so you'll be able to hear kind of motor sounds and things like that. You can kind of figure out if things are vibrating a lot, but by the looks of it, you aren't. Like, so this is how I know. I think you can probably tilt your camera angle up if you're going to be flying at these speeds. Is look, when you go around this corner, all you can kind of see is the ground. So if you were flying lower, like look, all you're looking at is the ground right now. So if you were flying lower, which you aren't in this case, it'd be very hard to do this because you'd be staring at the ground. That's not very far away from you. So might be something that's worth considering, is just bumping up the camera angle. But the turns are smooth. Like, in comparison to your first flight, the turns are way smoother. Like, look, when you come out of these, the horizon's a bit straighter. Yeah, well, that one you're coming a bit sideways. That's dope. And you also fly like I do. You sit down. I tried, and maybe you found this, I don't know, you let me know in the comments down below. Yes. Yo, what's up, Todd? What's up, bro? It's funny when you're flying that you end up like looking out into the side, or like real up, or like real down, or whatever. I end up looking like kind of up to the left most of the time. But that's great. I also sit. I can't stand. Well, I can stand, but when I'm real concentrating or flying like quite aggressively, I can't stand because I lose my balance. So I need to get better at that, because I think some places, I feel like standing's the way to go and get used to it, because you won't always have a seat. You know, it might be snowing, or you know, everywhere's wet, or I don't know, something, you know, whatever the example is, there might not always be availability for a seat, but you could, I guess, sit on the floor. But cool. Let's come on to the last one. Sunny day. So we're obviously in a completely different day now. Confidence. DJI goggles again. Ooh, a bit of getting a lot of shaking. Wonder why that is. Don't know if you guys can see kind of the wobble a little bit, and that might be because of, I don't know, like a bent propeller, maybe something like that, or the tune is a bit out. I'm not sure, but a bit wobbly. Oh, bro, if these are some of your first flights, you're doing so well. You're gonna fly through this. Oh, nice. Oh, so again, that would be an example. I say, like, practice the blip. You want to blip up, spin, and then you'll catch yourself landing in the same thing. And then as you get better at it, you can bring yourself lower to the ground so that you're doing your blips real low, and then you have that kind of proximity feeling of like the blades of grass flying along the bottom. Plus, as you start, you're gonna want to put a GoPro on this, which obviously changes the weight of your drone. So my advice, and something that I'm doing, so I'm following the same advice, is get yourself a dummy GoPro I have a video on the dummy GoPro, I'll link it up here somewhere, but that's just come out a couple days ago. So you can build one of those quite cheaply for cheap in the States for sure, where TPU kind of 3D printing is readily accessible. You can also buy it in some stores, like drone stores, quad stores online. So I would get one of those. It changes the weight, the feeling of the drone a lot. Plus the flight characteristics obviously have changed a bit, and then battery usage, all that kind of stuff. Ooh, dog walker, gotta watch out for them. Yes, yeah, that was a good one. You basically didn't lose any height there. Man, I'm so impressed. I wasn't like this. Thank God we're not showing my first flights. Mine was so slow. Front roll, orientation, spot on. Whoa. So this thing over here, when you're coming down, you see when you go up and you'll do a flip, and then you come, and then you turn on yourself. And basically what happens is when you turn down and you get it gets all shaky, which let's just get to the top here. So you do a flip, and then you turn, and then you'll see it kind of wobbles down. That's because your drone or your quad is coming down. It's called Propwash basically, and imagine the drone's always pushing air down or away from the propellers, and that's dirty air, I suppose, because the air is moving. Anytime your quad falls through that dirty air is when you get prop wash, essentially. And as I understand it, that causes vibrations on the motors and the props, all sorts of things, and then the flight controller compensates those vibrations, and that's when the whole tuning and PID tuning, all that stuff comes into, and vibration tuning, all of that stuff comes into play, which I don't know how to do yet. But one thing you can do to avoid that is, instead of falling down through the moving air that you're creating, is that you accelerate through that air. So instead of coming down through it, you pitch your drone forward and then throttle through it. So you're basically moving away from the dirty air, essentially. Oh, such a nice day over there, man. Jeepers. You're gonna get so nice. That was so good. Wow, it took me a long time to do flips and stuff. That was so good as well. Hey, other way. Nice. Yeah, you're doing so good. At least what you're practicing is, what you're practicing is at least flipping or rolling either way. I become super confident rolling one way and not the other. Nice, we're doing a dive. Hey, let's go. I bet you're just taking in the view there. Nice one, bro. Well, there you go, Todd. That's my reaction to your first flights. I guess those are some of the tips that I would have taken from that video. Some of the things that I've learned from watching you is I think I need to practice rolling the other way and doing split S's the other way. You're quite good at practicing both sides equally, so you're getting better at both sides at the same rate, whereas I'm kind of getting used to flipping one way only, whether that's a split S, and I think for me it's always to the left. I always drop down and left, or flip left, or roll left. So I'm getting used to splitting one way. So thank you for sending in the videos. I've learned a lot, and I've got some things that I want to work on. I hope that some of those tips are useful to you. Yeah, thanks for sending that stuff in. I really appreciate it. And so for all of you others watching out there, if you would like to do something similar with me, please send your videos, no matter what level. If you're really, really good at flying, please send them so that I can learn off of you, and we can put it here on the channel so that everyone in this little community can learn too. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas, because by the time this comes out, it'll be Christmas in 2020. So have a fantastic time with your families. Stay safe. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye.